We live. We're here. Dan, just explain to them
Yeah.
what we're doing here. What this is. Just a
First
small-
and foremost,
Yeah.
we didn't introduce ourselves.
Okay, let's introduce ourselves first. So my name's Dwayne.
Danny.
Yeah.
Daniel.
And, Daniel. Yeah, all right. Government name.
Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, we go with that.
Do you know what I mean? And we go by like double D. You get me? I just made that up today.
Yeah.
But so we're here representing a platform called Dads Are Us. But let's first talk about
Where are we?
yeah.
All right, so it's a mouthful. The Digital Creators Music Seminar.
Digital
Probably on your
Creators
screen anyway.
Music seminar.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Continue.
So how did we even get here? So we're looking for a new home for the studio.
Looking for a new home,
for
new
the
hub.
podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. A new home, a new hub, and I've gone to check out this place that I keep seeing up online. So your social marketing is doing very good, by the way. Keep seeing it online, and then shouted my bro, Jerome, and then he was like, "Yeah, check out this place, check out this place." I've gone down. The mail was just vibes from the get-go. I was like, "Yeah, this is the spot. This is where we need to be." And then from there, yeah, we'll start filming soon. But we've got a seminar coming up. Do you guys want to come and do that? So here we are.
Here we are.
And throughout the day, you're going to see a lot of influencers. You're going to see a lot of industry people. You're going to see some of the podcasts that do already happen in the studio and the ones that are up and coming like us. And yeah, man, it's going to be just good vibes throughout the whole day.
Right. Love that. So
And
that's
our
the introductions
podcast-
done.
Our podcast is
Our podcast is called Dads Are Us, as I told you briefly earlier. And what Dads Are Us is about is a platform, a safe space for dads and men in general to speak about their human experience from their perspective. From our perspective, myself and Danny in particular. It starts and stems from us, but the point and the aim is to give men, dads, a safe space to be vulnerable, a safe space to speak and share their human experience from their perspective. An opportunity for men to do that, and an opportunity for women to listen and hear what men are saying, dads are saying, but also to be a part, a safe space for them to listen, a safe space for them to speak.
Yep.
So today, we're going to talk about a little experience. I'm going to leave this to Dan. I've left it, we're freestyling today. I've said to Dan, what do you want to talk about today? So we're going to talk about something from, our own personal
well, to
experience.
jump on the back of what you were saying though.
Yeah,
Because it's happened today a few times already. We're at a networking event, we're talking to people.
yeah.
And it's already happened. Like, all right, but like, what about for someone who's not a dad yet?
That was us.
Yeah. And what we're saying from there is, first and foremost, let's hope if that's what you want, you do become a dad.
Yep,
At which point you can come back to the videos,
yep.
and hopefully by then we've got our whole catalogue. So you can learn and listen to so many different views and opinions by them. We're gonna have guests, so we will have women on as well.
We have had a
we
woman.
have, and we will have our fathers or the generation above us on as well, and that sort of thing. But also, you're gonna get a understanding of being a son as well. So you might not be a dad yet, but you might get an understanding of being a son or daughter.
Which brings it back to your own personal experience. So it brings it back, like someone asked us, why don't we call it Men Are Us? But for us, we're dads and we wanted a safe space. And the thing with men is that men don't often speak. We're conditioned to not speak. Do you know what I mean? We're conditioned to kind of like keep our opinions to ourselves or man up. Do you know what I mean? So if we feel a certain emotion, we're kind of taught to man up. And I hate that phrase.
Yeah,
I understand
yeah.
it, and it was phrases that I used.
I understand where it's coming from.
Of course I understand it because it was something I was brought up on.
Yeah.
But in terms of saying to a man to man up, what the hell does that mean? Saying to a boy to man up, what does that mean? That means you're stopping that boy, that man, that inner child from being a human being in that moment, from actually sharing their human experience. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I feel like crying, I should be able to do that. If I
Yeah.
feel like saying I feel vulnerable, I should be able to do that. But if a man shares that kind of emotion, he's seen as less than. And that's that kind of society pressure.
Yeah.
And now, although I say society, I'm not talking about society as though it's some outside experience, because we are society. But what I mean is that top elite that condition us to decide what we're going to do and be.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I need us to have a space to be safe, to speak
Yeah.
and share, so that we can speak not only as fathers, but as men. But we use Dads Are Us as a platform to actually give men a subject to speak about. So then, when we now speak about this subject as a father, you can't not speak about your experience as a man, because it's part and parcel. Because
part
it
and
comes
parcel.
before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before you're a dad, you're a man.
Yeah.
You're a person. So you have to speak about that experience. But because we're taught and conditioned not to, Myself and Danny have come up with the brainchild of Dads Are Us, so we've got a platform, a space, a subject to actually talk about, to let men feel safe and women feel safe, to then speak about that parental experience,
Yeah.
and then we can speak about the human experience.
And don't ever underestimate our voices and the fact that my pops should be able to listen to us speaking and make his own comparisons.
Of course.
And as we start to bring guests and stuff like that, my uncles should be able to. My granddad should be able to. There is no like I know it all now because I'm this age.
No.
And there is no I know nothing because I'm this age. At the end of the day, we've all got different experiences, upbringings, different thought processes, and that's every single individual.
And that's okay,
So,
Dan.
and that's
What we spoke
perfectly
about,
fine.
like, you know what, me and you are talking here today. So me and Danny are talking. We ain't even started talking about anything. But
Yeah,
we're just
yeah, we
talking
haven't. We're just
generally
telling
right
you
now,
what
but
the-
it's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
But we might not agree.
Yeah.
So Danny may say something and I say something and it's like, well, I disagree.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's all good.
I think the issue we're finding, especially when it comes to the issue of being a parent and being a dad, mums and dads, is that we get lost in the comparison and the issue over the solution. Do you know what I mean? So we get lost in the argument
Yeah.
rather than the solution. Like, I'm more interested in, if me and you don't agree, Dan, you're my brother, innit? I'm more interested in us moving forward in the most beneficial way, yeah? Because I love you as my brother, and I love our relationship, and I love our experience together. And I think our relationship is more important than the issue.
100.
You understand? So even if we don't agree, why do we have to focus on the fact that we don't agree? Why can't it be we agree to disagree and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
be
yeah.
okay? Right?
I wish I knew I had the answers for you. I wish I had them for you.
Like, why can't we go, raw, you say this and I say that.
Yeah.
Oh, should we go there? Should I
Yeah.
go about the this and that?
Yeah.
Should I go there?
Yeah, go.
So
Go on, well, we need to. We're in.
the problem I find with male and female dynamic, the masculine and feminine,
Yeah.
the mother and father, is that sometimes we get lost in communication. Yeah. And a lot of the time, again, I'm just going to use an experience for myself personally. I'm talking about this and you're talking about that. And because you're triggered by that, you think that I'm saying that rather than this.
One more time.
I'm speaking about this and you're speaking about that. And because you're triggered by that, you think I'm speaking about that.
Right.
But I'm not. I'm speaking about this. Now, is that included in this? Yes. Probably.
Yeah.
But am I speaking about that? No. I'm speaking about this. And because you're triggered by that, you're telling me that's what I'm saying. I'm not. This is what I'm saying. This is what I meant. You're saying, no, because I'm triggered by that, which is a part of this, I believe that's what you're saying and that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Firstly, you can't tell me what I was saying.
Yeah.
Secondly, you can't tell me what I meant because I know what I meant. Thirdly, did you even recognize my intention? You're trying to tell me my intention was that.
Yeah.
If that hurts you, you really believe that that is what I was saying and that was my intention.
I need an example. Or can I throw you an example? Yeah.
I would rather you do that.
So on this platform, I mean, this is, what do we say? I felt like I needed to speak. Do you see what I'm saying? This is my big bro. And I'm like, bro, can we just put the camera on while man's talking?
Right.
So a lot of the times I will bring up personal scenarios and examples.
Well, you got to.
So, you know, and that's where we're going to learn from and grow from. And I'm happy for bro to tell me, no, that was wrong, Dan. That was wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? Or comments. We want interactions. That was wrong. Or
As you
whatever
know,
it be.
although I may use the word wrong, I don't really see right and wrong. If
Yes.
anything, I would say,
Yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
that wasn't of benefit, bro.
Yeah.
That was less beneficial.
Yeah,
But we
exactly.
can use the word wrong. I'm just saying,
100%.
if I tell you you're wrong, sometimes you might be triggered by me saying you're wrong when actually it was right by you. It was just like, how
Right,
was that
right,
beneficial? Was that healthy?
Well,
bro?
I mean, if I could have all my combos like that, then we won't even need the platform. We won't even need it. That's it. Sorted. But, yeah, all right, so a very tiny one.
Go for it.
I don't know, let's say I had to get mine. I got two. I
Yeah.
got two children, two big children. Let's say, for example, and never ever disrespect any mums, especially my children's mum.
Right.
That's never the
let's
case.
let that be known. You tell
Yeah,
your
let's-
camera, I tell mine.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Go-
We
go
never
first.
disrespect women, mothers, or the feminine energy.
Never ever. It's about our perspective and our opinion. Because, well, in my case anyway, I don't believe it's in yours because I've seen how you handle yours. In my case, you win. You win. You win. Wherever you're saying, you win. So therefore, I don't really have that voice.
Right.
Because I haven't been able to get it across, project it, whatever it is.
So regardless, sorry to just cut in. So regardless of your relationship status or title or whatever, yeah, that's kind of like happy wife, happy life kind of
Right.
mentality.
And
which, if I'm honest, is a huge trigger for me. But
Listen.
carry on.
The more and more I'm growing, is the more and more I'm like, whoever made that statement there.
I believe it's more happy spouse, happy house. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
And
I like that.
Again, we don't have to be in a relationship with each other romantically. By that I mean,
like that.
you know what I mean?
So both the male and female would be saying happy spouse, happy house.
Both have to say it, because then not only are you speaking about yourself, but you're also talking about yourself with the inclusion of somebody else.
Yes.
Whereas happy wife, happy life is only speaking about one person's
person.
perspective and narrative.
Well, one person's happiness. The other ones is just like, well, forget yours.
Well, yeah, and
That's mad.
although I understand that saying, I don't agree with it. But again, I'm not mad. I just don't agree with it. But
Yeah,
continue
and
with
that's
what
it.
you were saying.
So my example-
You work from that. Your example.
Let's
Go.
just say, for example, I need to get my two home.
You need to get your two home.
My two children back to mum's house, and I did that. Mum didn't like how I got back to mum's house.
Right.
Understandably, I understand it. A mode of transport that I'm not supposed to be in right now, so I understand the possibilities of the could have, and it was a risk, and so on and so forth. I get.
Can I speak about that? Can I speak on that
Yeah,
for a moment
yeah.
too?
Pull me
so
up.
sometimes, as men, because it's not a big deal to us, we then don't validate and understand the big deal that it really is in reality, and what that means to the woman or mother in that moment.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't take that serious. Now, again, because we don't agree,
Yeah.
that's fine. But we should still definitely take it serious.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what I mean by that is, you know what? I don't agree with what you're saying, but I do understand and respect what you're saying. And in actual fact, by doing that, I'm taking on what you're saying, and I'll take that into consideration next time. I don't think I even considered that this time, because I was doing what I felt I needed to, and I was all right with doing.
So you're suggesting that's maybe where I was at that time, in that headspace.
I think at that time you just didn't want to hear it, and you would just say, okay,
All right,
because that's
so-
Danny.
Yeah. All right. So wait. So to pull it back, so I've got them home.
You have got them home.
I've got them home
safely.
Safely.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to speak about it. Yeah.
This is the mindset of the man.
Wait. Yeah.
Go on.
It is.
Go.
It is.
Go.
And I'm happy to be pulled up. Hit us with comments, whatever. Follow as well.
Yeah.
T1. Come
Subscribe,
on.
all the
Yeah,
tick.
all that. But we'll get to that. So I've got them home, innit?
You have.
So, boom. But why did you? Because this could happen. I know. I hear you. I know that could have happened. But I'm just saying right now, it didn't. And you know that this whole time I'm not meant to use that mode of transport, which has been 6 months now.
That you haven't used it.
I haven't used it. That's once I did it.
Right.
Maybe I had to.
That one
I
time.
completely.
That one time could be the one time
where
that
it goes
causes a
wrong.
problem.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
The one
'cause I want
time-
you to understand from the mother's perspective.
Whatever the one time was happened, why I'm not supposed to be using that mode of transport.
Right.
It happened one time, so I do get that.
Yeah.
And I may be almost, what's the word, digging myself graves here.
Right.
But what I'm trying to suggest is just a bit of consideration in the fact of, I do hear you, and I do understand, and I do take accountability.
I am listening.
I hear it all.
I'm listening. No, say no, because hearing.
I'm listening.
Yeah. Say I'm listening, because hearing for me is multitasking. Hearing is like what I think women are really good at doing. Women can hear because they're great at multitasking.
Right.
They don't always listen. And again, I think men do the same, but in their own way. Men listen to things specifically, right?
Right.
We're not really good at multitasking unless it suits us. Men can multitask in general when they're watching football or driving.
Yeah.
Again, in general. That's men are great at multitasking in that way. So what you want is for her to listen to you in that moment and know that you have listened to her
Yes.
in that moment.
I'm listening to that.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
when
yeah.
you hear, sometimes I can be hearing you, So I'm over there, looking over there, but I'm hearing you, which means I'm also over there hearing what's going over there too.
I hear that.
For
I
me,
hear that.
you're not listening. When I'm listening, I'm here, right here with you, and I'm paying attention specifically to what it is that you're saying,
Absolutely.
right? So I'm not saying that we shouldn't hear. I think hearing is good, but when you tell someone I'm listening to you and I've heard what you've said,
Yeah.
yeah, I've listened and I've heard,
Yeah.
rather than I'm hearing.
So once let's say I've said I'm listening and I've
Yep.
heard,
Yep.
where do we go from there?
At that point,
Where would we like to go from there?
at that point, I feel what you're asking for is consideration for what I have said to you, consideration for the fact that I have listened and heard what you said, and and not only have I considered that for the 6 months that happened. In this moment, I took a risk, and I hear you. For you, it was a big risk enough for you to actually mention it to me. All you've got to do is listen to it in that moment, and then go, I've heard you. I listened to you. Now listen, and make sure you've heard me. I'll consider that next time, because more often than not, I'm not going to do it. I just want you to understand the reason as to why I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because there needs to be some empathy and compassion.
There has to be.
Because that's the point that's the point that's being missed. It's the empathy and compassion that's being missed. It's like you want me to empathize and have compassion and listen to what it is that you're saying without you actually showing and sharing that same and holding that same space for me in mind.
The other way around.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. And I'm not telling you. My big thing is people leading with judgment, people leading with projection, and people leading with expectation. If you're leading with those things, one, is a trigger for me. Understand, although it's a trigger, I don't lead with my triggers. But it's a trigger for me. And more often than not, I don't feel safe enough to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Yeah? If I feel like you are leading with those things, judgment, projection, and expectation, more often than not, although I've got nothing but love and respect and time for you, I don't have time for that. So I'm out. And I remove myself from the situation.
He's out.
Yeah, I'm
He's
out.
gone.
So even if you're the mother of my child, even if you're my own mother, even if you're my dad, if you're my sister, you're my own children, I do not lead, with my fear. I don't lead with my judgment. I don't lead with projection, and I don't lead with expectation. And I don't tolerate BS in my life. And that might be my perception and perspective of what BS is. But understand that if it triggers me in a way that doesn't feed my soul and my peace, I'm out.
Yeah, I think that's important though. As you said, your interpretation of BS, because it's kind of similar to the same thing.
Yeah,
We
all
gotta
I'm,
go
all I'm
both
saying
ways.
is that I'm not going to project that onto you. So even though I'm out, I'm going to let you know in a respectful way that this doesn't work for me. So I'm out.
And I'm done here.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna just run away? You're just gonna just?
I'm not running away. I'm prepared to have a conversation without projection, judgment, and expectation. So if you're prepared to do that, then let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
But right now, your conversation or your way of communicating, as far as I'm concerned, you may think it's not that. And if you don't think it's not that, then let's communicate about that.
So you see the judgment thing, yeah? Like, for me, that's a trigger for me, yeah? Because where you're coming from and where I'm coming from are two different places. So, where I might think it's okay to do X, Y, and Z, and you don't, I think it's unfair for you to project your do's and don'ts onto me.
Project. For you to share it,
It's fine.
For you to project it is where the problem lies.
Right, so share it with me, it's fine, and let's converse about it.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
So you can share all you want.
Let's converse about it. That's
Yes.
fine. You'd like to do it this way. Okay, cool. I do it this way. Where's
Right.
our middle ground?
Right.
I can't just be out and out a bastard.
Yep.
I don't even know if we're allowed to say them things there.
You
But
said it now,
I can't
but
be
we'll
out and
we'll
out.
bleep it out.
Yeah.
Beasted.
Can't be out and out a bad guy. Let's say inverted commas.
Yeah.
The bad guy for not doing it your way. But we've got a whole different
Way of doing things.
way of doing things, looking at things.
So all you have to do
perspectives.
is just respect. Sorry, you have to accept and respect my human experience and my way.
Yeah.
You ain't even got to tolerate it, but accepting it and respecting it is cool. So you can say, for me, it don't work for me. Cool. That's when we work on finding that middle ground. Because how you do things don't work for me neither. Now what?
Well, I don't feel like we've had the space to be able to say those. Well, do you know what? My experience, I don't think I've had the space. And my social circles, I don't think they've had the space to say, this is how I do, this is what works for me and what doesn't. I feel like
Why do you think that is the case though? This is an interesting question. Because you're saying you and your circle don't feel that way. And I'm not saying that I don't feel that
I
way
can't
either. I
speak
just want to know.
for them.
So speak for yourself.
Sorry, speak for my. Yeah, I don't want to give too much of myself. Shit, then. But okay, cool. I don't feel like I've been able to say, hey, listen, but this is my way. Can we meet in the middle?
Why?
Because I'm always met with, it hasn't gone my way, and that's pretty much it.
So
That's
so because
my
I'm reading between the lines here, and I'm going to say
interpretation. I don't want to speak for. You know what I'm saying? That's
no,
my interpretation.
but I'm going to say what I believe you're saying, and you can tell me if what
Yeah, give me
I've
that
said is what you're
clarification.
saying.
Go on.
So in other words, you don't feel safe, right, to actually speak your truth.
Nah, it's long. It's long.
You don't feel safe
It's long.
to share your ultimate truth because
To say not safe sounds a bit mad.
no,
But
the reason why you think to say not safe sounds mad because men have been taught that when you talk about I don't feel safe, like
man's gonna get
man,
punched up or
like
something.
what you mean, like what are you talking about? As a man, I don't need to not feel safe. Like what's this safe talk?
Yeah.
So
Man's a big man
you've
out
gone
there.
into your gully mandem, energy in order to protect yourself. Just understand that what you did just then was actually about your inner child. See, I break shit down to the truth. I get
Although
to
I
the
might
core.
have done it for the pod. I'm just saying.
That you could have done it for whatever it is. I like what you did there too. But my thing is, you did what most men do,
Yeah.
which is we revert back to our habitual way of being, right? Like our conditioned version of ourselves. So you've reverted back to what society says we're allowed to be as men.
Yeah.
So you went into protection mode and wall up and just like, raw. What do you mean safe, bruv? Like as a man, I provide safety. Do you know what I mean? So I'm always safe. I don't need a woman to make me feel safe. I didn't ask you if a woman makes you feel safe. I asked if she was providing a safe space. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I'm not asking anyone to make me feel safe. That's my job. I'm asking you to provide a safe space, regardless of whether you feel whether you are making me feel that or not. I need you to contribute to making me feel safe. I don't need you to make me feel safe.
What is a safe space?
A safe space is
This is what you feel we need in households, yeah.
this is what we need in life.
in
This
life.
this isn't just as a dad.
So it's, what's the word I want? Define safe space. What you're speaking
Safe
about.
space means that you're allowed to be your true, authentic self, right? So that means warts and all. Do you know what I mean? Up and down. So, again, from you're not leading with judgment, projection, and expectation, I should be allowed to share exactly how I feel and feel safe to do that because this is my human experience. So if I'm saying to you, yo, what you said then and how you behaved and how you showed up, boy, I didn't like it, you know. I'm not telling you that you made me feel a certain way. I'm just saying in that moment that you've contributed to making me feel a certain way. I should be allowed to do that. What we're often met with from people is once you say to someone, you contributed to making me feel a certain way, they then say, what do you mean? I made you feel a certain way. This is how I felt. So now we're in competition, right? Now we're in argument. Now we're battling one another. And rather than actually stepping into a room, and just taking ownership for you and your part, we focus on pointing fingers. We focus on pushing blame. We focus on shame, guilt, blame, and fault rather than responsibility and accountability. So safety for me is allowing someone to feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to giving them a safe space to actually take and own responsibility and accountability for their part.
Okay.
And if you've got to turn up offering yourself that same safe space so someone can offer you that back. And so if there's an argument that you're having with someone, if you're having a debate, don't go in talking about the part they played. Go in talking about the part that you played. If you can go into any situation talking about the part that you played, you now are teaching them in that moment to do the same.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is the safe space that we're providing.
This right here is a
This
safe
is the
space.
safe space.
That's what Dad's All Ross is about.
Yeah. We do go into topics and things like that. It depends on how we're feeling at the time. We're gonna have guests in. We're gonna have mums in. We need the woman's perspective. Listen, we love, respect, and honor. Yeah, the queens.
Say that again. We love, respect,
love, respect, and honor the
Mm.
queens in all shapes, sizes, colors, all of it. However, this is we're in control of this space, innit? So when we do get our
See,
guests,
that was the feminine energy right there singing. I love
Yeah,
that. See, she
love
came in
that.
singing. No, sing louder, babes.
yeah,
Sing
come,
louder,
come,
hear
tou-
me?
come touch mic and sing.
Come touch mic and sing. Who is that
Yeah.
that I see? That's what she said. She was talking about someone. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna try and pick something out in specific that we spoke about on one of the episodes before.
Okay, go for it.
I think I said it briefly. But in terms of, so my story,
Yeah.
my upbringing is very different to. That's me as an example. I'm not using myself specifically this time, but as an example, my story is very different to, let's just say, yours. In fact,
Okay, yeah.
let's just say yours.
Yeah, no, it is.
Let's just
It's-
remove
it's-
the mum.
It's similar,
out
but
of this.
it's actually very different also.
Right, now I might think, yeah, from where I'm coming from, it's okay to walk in the house with shoes on.
It's definitely not okay
No, yeah,
to walk in my house with shoes.
in this example.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, it's okay because that's how I was raised. We just ran up and down the house.
Right,
Bare cousins, aunties, and
Yep.
so on and so forth.
right.
That's not right for you
No,
because that's not how you grew.
no, because
Yeah.
Barbara will kill everybody.
Right, and Barbara's mumsy, yeah?
Barbara is
Right.
mumsy. My mother will kill everybody if you step
mine
in
too,
her house.
but in this
with the
example,
shoes on, you know what I
right,
mean?
you see me? So, how do we now? No, in fact, I need to get this
Are
right.
you
So
saying like,
if
how
I-
do we now live together? How do we now
That's
call?
why the example's mad. But yeah, let's
No,
keep
it's not
running
mad.
with it. Keep running
It's
with
not,
it.
man. No, it's a small,
Let's keep
simple
running with it.
example. So you now get with a partner that grew up with shoes being allowed in the house, but your partner is someone who grew up with shoes not being allowed. I know you're saying
Right.
it's mad, but it's a very simple
As
thing.
well as
How-
I got 70 cousins, and
70,
you got
very bad.
I got 70 cousins, and you got two.
you got a small family.
You got two.
That's mad.
Let's
cousins.
just say.
All
Let's
right,
just say.
cool.
Yeah.
So
How-
now there's a difference of opinion.
there's a it's ingrained. Our stories are. The opinions are ingrained in us.
How do we raise our children?
How do we raise our children? That's what I'm trying to get to. How?
Compromise.
How do we do that?
Conversation, communication. One way isn't the right way, but there is a more beneficial way. And that's about having balance. So, for example, you bring that up specifically. My way in my yard, my situation is irrelevant, but in my yard, the mother of my children, yeah, she has a totally different way of doing things. Similar, but totally different way. Like
And
you
we're
just spoke
different
about.
cultures. Just to throw that in there as well.
And different cultures.
And we're different cultures.
Again, we're similar cultures, but I will use mine specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah? She's been brought up more free because she grew up in a house that you're talking about. You could probably run up and down and have shoot. My yard, it is just me and my mum. My dad is in my life and my dad's a don, but he never grew up in the household. You understand? Or I never grew up with him in the household. I can't say he never grew up there because he didn't. That don't make no sense. Anyway, so I never grew up like that. My thing is, I want my kids to grow up in a way that is more or most beneficial for them, which is going to be similar to how I grew up and similar to how the mother of my children grew up. But it's not going to be the same. Everything is going to be different. So I have
Yeah.
to know how to amend, yeah, and change, grow, and evolve the same way she does.
Yeah.
So although you were brought up this way and I was brought up that way, there is going to be another way that we are going to come together to bring up our children, which is going to include this and that way. That is how that works.
So if I played the ignorant in this scenario, yeah, like you're not doing it my way. Them shoes are meant to stay on. Let's say they're meant to stay on as you
Yep.
go through the house.
Yep.
At what point how do you back me up and be like, yo, like, come on, let's just meet in the middle here,
Straight away, the
And whatnot.
conversation takes place.
because I'm not having it. They're supposed to walk up and down.
Yeah,
with
no,
the
yeah,
sh-
yeah. So you not having it doesn't work.
But it happens in households.
Of course it does. But the point is, you not having it doesn't work. Because now you're both meeting each other at a you not having it leading energy. If you're both at this, I'm not having it energy, where's the solution? Where's the resolution? How are you going to resolve this? If you're both in this, I'm not having it and I'm right and my way is the only way that this can happen. That's not going to work.
It's not gonna work.
So, and in all of that, who gets lost? Who loses out? The kids. And you, but the kids lose out when you're having this argument and this debate because you're trying to bring up the kids in a way that is healthy for them. But instead, you've got lost in your argument and your debate about something that you were conditioned to think.
All right, but excuse me.
You were taught to think that. What's your way?
All right,
Do
but
you even believe
excuse
that?
me, Dwayne.
Yeah.
My children should be brought up a way I was brought up.
Well, that's not going to happen because your children are not just yours.
But
No, done. There's no but. If you but that,
what
sit
you're
down.
saying is good. It's great.
No, if you've got a but, go
Yeah.
and do your but over there in the corner, big man.
Yeah. All right. So now, off of the back of that, you're just not going to see them.
What? My kids?
I'm throwing it out.
You're throwing out a
I'm throwing it
madness
out
to me.
because I know, man, them where it's happened. It's happened.
Okay,
where,
understood.
Like I
You're
understand.
doing, you know what? You're doing it in a way that do you want to know why
Are you
it's
getting
triggering me?
triggered?
I'll tell you why it's triggering me because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way someone could tell me I'm not seeing my kids because we don't agree.
But some man them out there, they're not getting.
They do.
to
You're right. They do.
Based off of a similar. Look at this. It was a
Experience and
stupid
narrative.
example that I gave.
It wasn't
started
stupid.
off.
It was small.
Okay, it was small.
It's not stupid.
Okay, cool. It was a small example.
It's
that
a
I
small
gave,
example. You're
but
right. It
Look
went
where
from
it's gone to.
because we don't agree in the way that we are going to bring up our kids because I was brought up this way and you were brought up that way, and because
Yeah.
we don't agree with that.
So it's not
you're
spitefully or on
No, it-
purpose. I'm gonna be difficult.
No, but that is
I
spite.
just don't-
See, that's no. I'm calling a spade
it
a
spite?
spade.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that I'm not going to see my kids
No,
because
sorry. The
Oh, the
part
disagreeing.
Of, yes.
oh no, the disagreeing isn't spiteful.
It's
But
just
if
my story and
right,
your story.
but if you now get to the point where you're going to be like, well, if you're this and I'm that, you're not going to see your kids.
Yeah.
That's spiteful,
And-
and you must own that.
And you know why, in this example, the male or the female feels right in doing that, justified in doing that, is because I don't trust you. Because I don't do that, what you do, I don't trust you.
What you know what?
What happens now?
That was nice what you did there.
happens to now to my man who
So tr-
can't get to see his?
So
have
trust is
his-
the issue. So it's not. So again, see. So
still
although we're
examples, innit?
So we're talking about the difference in upbringing, but really, you never trusted me.
Well,
Right? Hear this. Now hear this. And so now we get to the deeper thing. You have never trusted me, but you still had enough trust to lie down and have children with me. And now that we have these children, you want to act out in a way that is not going to be healthy or beneficial to us or our children. That's male or female. If you're acting in a way that isn't healthy and beneficial to the solution, to me first, not me only, to me, you, and us, check yourself. Check yourself, male or female,
do you know what it is? Yeah.
man or woman,
Yeah.
father or mother. Check yourself. Stop looking at me and what I done, or stop looking at the other person. So me, if I don't trust you, Danny, I need to think about why I don't trust you rather than think about you and why I don't trust you. That don't make no sense because I'm never going to trust you because anything you do that makes me feel like I don't trust you is always going to reassure me and just solidify the fact that I don't trust you. I have to check what my issue is with you as to why I don't trust you
Okay.
and deal with that so then I can deal with you and my issue with you.
And then we can progress forward.
Right. Because you lied down and had children with me, not you because it's impossible.
It's mad.
It's impossible,
mad,
you get
yeah.
me? And I'm not trying to have kids with you, big man.
Pause on that.
Pause on that. You know what I mean? But either way, my point is, people need to start checking themselves. If you have an issue, stop projecting your issue onto others, even if they are a contributing factor to your issue. If they are 99.9% responsible and accountable for the issue in your head, from your perspective, you are still 0.1 responsible and accountable for yours, and you are 100% responsible for your 0.1. So focus on that,
Okay, so
and let them focus on them and theirs. Instead, what we do is we focus on them and theirs and say, you need to do this, so then I can feel better. I'm not asking anyone to do anything for me to feel better. I'm asking them to do it because it will contribute to me making me feel better, but ultimately do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And if you can honestly say that what you're doing is bringing peace and happiness to yourself, cool. If you're saying it's bringing peace to you and us, cool. But if you can look around and see that it's not, it's contributing to bringing turmoil and trauma, check
and
yourself,
like,
man.
Yeah, like I think if you're doing the well said. I think if you're doing the keeping a parent away or using the children as power, as you said, everyone's missing out in that scenario, in that circumstance.
Everybody.
Everyone in the scenario, and more importantly, I think the children are.
That right
so
there is the most important factor. They
Yeah,
are.
if you're-
Although I would say, as you know, Dan, you still need to put you first. So although you've got to make those kids a priority,
Yeah.
you still need to put you first. Because if you make the kids the first and most important priority, there will still come a time when you resent them, or the mother of your children, or the father of your children, whichever direction it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just builds resentment if you don't deal with your trauma with yourself.
Rather than enforcing it on.
Yeah, so if you start to go, you know what, let me just think about the kids right now. I think there's a difference between the priority and a priority. The priority is always going to be you. Always, it never changes. Because you have to feed you before you feed anybody else. If you try to feed anybody else before you feed yourself, you're going to be hungry. Now you're not in a position to feed them again because you're starving. Why are you doing that?
That's a me first is a bit of a
Me
conflict
first, not
in
me
my
only.
situation still.
Selfish
Still.
for selfless reasons.
Yeah, it's a bit of a conflict because that's a ingrained story that doesn't comprehend over there.
My
But
kids don't come before me,
to
bro.
me, oh yeah, see, it sounds mad.
Of course
Like,
it sounds
sounds
mad when
mad.
I say it like that.
We've spoke about it, so I get it.
I say it point blank. I say it straight out, and I say it like this for a purpose. My kids don't come before me. Everyone's been on a plane
it
before, and
sounds
if you
mad.
haven't, I'll give you the analogy. On the plane, they say, in case of an emergency, when the mask comes down, ensure you put your mask on first before helping anyone else with them and theirs. That is in the eye of danger. In a death situation, they're saying, make sure you look after you. So why the hell wouldn't you do it in life, in reality? Do you think the lion and the lioness don't eat before they feed the cubs? They nyam.
Yeah.
The hierarchy, fam.
No, I get it.
Because the lion has to have the energy to provide and protect. Although the lioness definitely they provide because they do all the hunting.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
So me first, not me only.
Me first, not me only.
So
Selfish for selfless reasons. So the point of me looking after myself is to be able to be in a position to look after you. The whole point and purpose of it.
okay, cool.
I've got to nyam, so I have the energy to feed you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So if I've only got one piece of chicken, no, I'm gonna nyam it, but I've got the energy to go out there and go get a next piece of chicken for you.
yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like, let that be known.
It's
There's
a
one
mad
piece of
one.
chicken. You're not eating that.
But
I'm
you
eating
stick
it.
it.
I got it. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's mine.
You stick it. I mean, I might feed mine first. I don't know, but
No,
yeah.
no, it's not happening.
We get it. We get
Yeah?
it.
But understand that doesn't work under the scenario of like when life says it's between you and your children. Who's it going to be? It's always going to be my kids. When life calls for it. But life doesn't call for sacrificial love. Life doesn't call for you to live in sacrifice. So we live in this space of like, it looks dope to sacrifice yourself. It sounds good when a mother says, my kids come first. And the dad says, yep, my kids come first, fam. Nobody comes before my kids, big man. That looks great. Yeah? That's a great flyer. But in reality, you're only sacrificing yourself. What are you teaching your kids?
Alright, so-
To sacrifice themselves. I'm
Alright,
not teaching
so
my kids
one
that.
one of the best things I've done recently, yeah. To break down what you're saying,
Yeah.
I've put my happiness first
Okay.
over trying to satisfy over there. So
That's beautiful, but you're
What
doing it. You,
that's-
you just said it in a different way. That's the same
Yeah,
thing.
innit?
But
I'm-
yeah,
I'm
go on.
just trying to
That's nice, though.
simplify it.
That's nice.
because your words are just so amazing. Sometimes I'm just like, this is a lot of information. Yeah, it's a lot of info.
No,
So-
you broke it down to the
Yeah.
nearest decimal.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everybody that never heard what I
Yeah.
said, listen to you.
So my happiness has come before. How did I even word it? My happiness has come before making that situation right.
right, cool.
So in doing that, I've been able to propel myself in this area, in that area,
right.
meet these people, do these new things, which has then fed back into, right, actually, because of that, I'm now able to do X, Y, and Z for
Right.
you.
Yeah.
So that's an example of putting self first, because I know you want me there at 7 o'clock, let's say,
Yeah.
but actually I can't get there until 9 because I need to finish this.
Right.
And when I finish it, the benefit is going to fall back onto you.
Yeah.
So that's a
Balance is key.
decimal point.
Balance is key. Because the thing that kids need and women need specifically is consistency. And when they don't see consistency, they're triggered.
And just one like to finish off.
Yep.
I do want to finish that question.
Yeah.
Why is it important to
be
so
consistent.
say there's mum or dad listening right now
Yeah.
are going through, one has the child and the other one is not allowed to see the child.
Yep.
I'm not pinpointing which one.
Yep.
One has them and the other one's not allowed to see. What effect is that having on the child?
It's
That's what I
having the least beneficial effect on the child.
But I'm pissed. I don't want you to see the child.
But you see what I'm saying? Do you see when
What's the effect on the child?
Do you see when being selfish suits everyone, and it's not even selfish for selfless reasons? They say it's selfish for selfless reasons, but it's not. They're saying, I'm pissed and I don't want you to see the child. I'm pissed with your action, so therefore, based on me being pissed, the consequences of that is you can't see your child. They may argue because your inconsistency or what you did to piss me off, I feel it affects the child. Cool, you're allowed to think that, but you're not allowed to lead, feed and focus and navigate from your pissed perspective. You're allowed to be pissed. Feel the feeling, but don't become the feeling. A lot of people don't just feel the feeling, they become it. And then they focus, feed and lead with the feeling. And when you focus, feed and lead with how you feel, you're not focusing, feeding and leading with what is most beneficial to the situation being successful.
So make it be known the importance for the child though. Child or children.
Make it be known the importance for you first. And then you can speak about the child. Understand that what you've done has led to affecting me, has contributed to affecting me in a way that I don't like. I feel disrespected. So I'm really asking you to consider that.
But the importance in having both parents then.
The
Whether
importance
it be
of having
every other weekend, every 2 weeks, whatever the setup and scenario
the importance of parents
and what that's doing and what you're taking away.
The importance of parents knowing how to co-parent, whether you get along or not, is so fucking real. Not just for you, but for the kids. The kids need the dynamic of the masculine and the feminine. The kids need the dynamic of the male and female. The kids need the dynamic of the mother and the father.
I can do everything myself though.
A mum can't be a dad.
I do everything myself.
Even if you can do everything, you are still not a dad. So even though you are doing a great job as a mother and stepping up,
I pay the bills, I feed them.
That's great, but you are still not the father. It doesn't matter if you're doing the things that you think come under the subheading of dad. You are still not a dad, and that is reality. It doesn't matter what you say. It's the reality. It doesn't. You can say whatever you want. Could you have that child without me? No. So how can you then now forget that you couldn't have the child without me? Don't tell me that you can do all of that without me. You can't, because you couldn't have the child without me. Even if you decided to go to a sperm donor, it's my sperm.
Let's make it be known as well, as we always do. Keep the some don't deserve to see, and so on and so forth. We're using,
but don't let that be your decision though.
Everyday examples.
Yeah,
and
but
stuff
don't let
like
that be. Don't let the feeling be the leading energy as to you stopping someone from seeing them. Let it be a contributing factor.
In case there are any triggers, yeah.
Yeah, but it can't be the leading. It can't be the leading thing. But, boy, I think we've gone on long enough.
Well, yeah.
I think we've gone on long enough.
It's
our time's up.
It's example of the type of conversation you hear on the platform. Yeah, sometimes it gets a bit like, nah, do you know what, D? There's something real personal going on right now. I'm gonna find a way to talk about it, but I'm gonna express it, and then we converse. So we can get personal. We get the guests in. We definitely need more women on.
100,000%.
So don't ever think that this is a space of like, nah, we're gonna talk and that's it. No, it's not that. It's just led by us, because in my examples, we don't really get to speak.
Yeah.
We're not really allowed to be emotional. We're not really allowed to have a safe space and all this stuff. As we said, man up. So yeah, we're offering that platform and that space, and it's gonna grow, man. And remember, like I said, it's not just about us as dads. You may hear my story and then say, I wonder if when my dad was a younger man, boom, 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 why he wasn't there. Like, he might have actually tried to be there, and maybe my mum, who I do love dearly, might have said, you ain't coming around here. I might go back and question that, and so on and so forth. And for future dads as well, there's a little bit of a, you get me, learning here, innit? So on and so forth. So yeah, man. What is that? Is that us?
That's it. That's us, brothers. Dads Are Us signing out. Blessings and love, people.
Check out the socials. The socials isn't actually Dads Are Us though, because it's
a show
on a bigger platform.
Yes.
So the bigger platform is called Village E1T1. It takes a village to raise a child.
Yep.
We're calling ours Village Each One Teach One.
There we go.
It's a play on postcodes. So E1T1.
And Dads Are Us is one of the shows on that platform
within the village.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, but you'll see us. You'll hear about us.
Blessings, Dan.
Yeah, love.
Nice.
Every time.
Thanks, guys.
going on? You're at the Waffle Top podcast live at the Soundbank. It's 1 year anniversary. I've got myself and Donovan with me.
In the building, come on,
Yeah.
all day, every day. Come on.
We got our guest as well today, Veril. So you may have seen him on last year.
Yeah.
He's back. Obviously, he's done quite a lot since we last spoke. So
Yeah.
just give us a little recap of what you've been on, man.
So my most recent initiative has been to set up a 24-hour response for homeless people within the 32 boroughs of London, and that consists of having 2 people in each borough on my call to basically go out and help those that are in need that are on the street.
Cold. So your van now, because you've got a van set up now, which
Yeah.
is something that happened recently.
Yeah.
So with that van now in play, is your plan now to go across London in terms of your outreach, or?
Yes, I think the last time we spoke, I was restricted in terms of the amount of stuff I could bring out because we were using bikes and stuff. But in 4 months, we were able to fundraise just over 13 grand to buy the van. So the van's now turned into a mobile food pantry, which has supplies and hot and cold tap installed in the back, so they can wash their hands and stuff on the spot.
You still got spots like the shops and the laundry.
Yeah.
And stuff as well,
So referring back to the currency situation, so I've got I think about 15 shops now where I put like 100, 250 pound behind the till.
Yeah.
And then basically it's a tab system, so I go out on the street afterwards and give these little coupons out to homeless people, and then they can go into the list of shops that I've got, get food on the spot free.
Yeah, that's from when we last spoke. Obviously, it's changed massively.
Yeah.
But since we last spoke, obviously, a lot of changes have happened out of our control. More recently, obviously, Boris Johnson stepping down.
Yeah.
The reason I say it is because that sort of thing affects you a lot in terms of the changes in government. But now they've potentially, he's a front runner, looking like Rishi Sunak's going to come in.
I think, in all due respect, I think regardless of whoever's in power,
Yeah.
it won't make a difference to the demographics of how I have to work, because I'm by myself. I'm not restricted with funding. I'm not restricted by anything to do with the government. So I move on my own pace. So regardless if they wanna, I mean, obviously it will only impact the amount of people that are in poverty, but that poverty problem will always happen in England. It won't ever stop unless we have someone who sees that as an agenda. But you got to remember, when it comes to politics, the only reason why poverty is still a thing is because it's a marketing tool to get that person in power. So if you think about someone like Rishi Sunak, he will start to turn up to deprived areas when his campaign starts. Or if Sadiq Khan wants to be re-elected, he will start popping up to high crime rate areas, which are low areas anyway. So they use it as a marketing tool because it pulls on heartstrings of society to kind of want to elect them again.
But it's an interesting thing you said before when we last done the podcast about homeless people not being able to vote.
Yeah.
So that being the reason why people don't really care about them so much in the community. So obviously going back to what you just said, in terms of how is that gonna? Is it more like a media sort of coverage that they get more than just because they're not getting the votes from them? So is it just what they can output in terms of videos?
No, so they will get votes from them, but it's a thing where, okay, there was a guy called, I can't remember his name is, he was for Conservative, I think, Sean something, and he went viral but for all the wrong reasons. So a homeless lady approached him, asked him for some money, and he basically walked straight past her. But social media didn't like that he didn't have a heart to help her on the spot. So when you see, like, as an example, you'll see a politician rock up to a hospice with sick children that are going to be passing away. They do that because it's a marketing tool. Their marketing team who's trying to get them elected will teach them what they need to do to tick the boxes to get a certain type of vote or a certain amount of people. So it does help them in a way, but you don't ever see homelessness as a situation of what they try to help.
Okay. What does C86 look like now? Without the funding, without the help, like, how do you feel like?
C86ers, so for those who don't know what C86ers is, so C86ers was a streetwear brand up to 4 years ago, and you know, every successful streetwear brand has a target audience, so I picked mountain biking, just like how Supreme would pick skateboarding.
Yeah.
And the team had 32 riders who basically used to go to bike parks and whatnot, ride the canals and stuff. And then lockdown happened, and then we kind of were going for rides and stuff. But when we were going out at night, we realized that there's a lot of homeless people outside, because these are the real ones that are stuck outside who can't stay homeless, can't stay safe.
Okay.
So we did a ride out with cargo bikes, filling up with food and stuff, and non-essential items like toothpaste and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then in the year and a bit, it's reached 947 riders now. So I've got a massive team of people who will come on my drop and say, let's turn up here, let's go and do this and let's go and do that, which helps because I'm not a charity.
Yeah. That's very important to highlight as well.
Yeah, because I'm not a charity, having that volume of support from the community. I mean, I've had charities, like big charities, contact me and ask me on a conversation, how do you fundraise like that?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like,
that, so.
I will drop a Just Giving page and people will just do it, because the thing is, with charities in this day and age, it's, I don't know, everyone just seems to, it's just like on a culture thing, if in our culture, it's either you do design in terms of like t-shirts and stuff like that, or you're a rapper, or you do music or whatever. It's a culture thing. For some bizarre reason, charity seems to be the go-to now. It seems to be the easy option for everyone to get involved in.
Yeah. So obviously, going back to that bit, it's obviously with being a charity, that's obviously something you never really considered.
I would never consider it.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get to that.
That doesn't make any sense.
But it's mainly obviously as well the amount of tax that they pay charities a year to the government as well. Which
So their tax bracket is it's non-existent. You don't really pay tax with charities. So how it
registered charities.
Registered charities, but it's all stuff that you can claim back, because you can't tax donation money.
Yeah.
So in essence, it's just a weird situation. So when you sit down and you look at the fundamentals of you giving a charity £1, they can keep 80% of it. They only have to use that 20 pence towards the cause.
It does make you think, though, obviously, with a lot of things that we've grown up with seeing over the years, comic relief, which is, I mean, just on a percentage, how much of that would you say, from your experience of doing the work you do, how much of a percentage does actually go to starving kids?
Okay, so if we put it in perspective, like those who are in the audience now, or like people who are going to watch it, when we were younger, we were watching Oxfam adverts with starving children wanting clean water, malnutrition, loads of flies on them and whatnot. I'm now 35 years old and we've still got the same videos. If you've got someone like Akon that can turn up into America to Africa and turn up within 5 years and put electricity in a whole town, what are we doing? Oxfam should be a situation now where they've got their own bottled water and they're distributing like Coca-Cola across the world.
Yeah.
And every bottle sold, maybe 20p's going towards making another well. Yeah. But it's not like that.
No, it's real. Go on. What's wrong?
B, man, cool. Carry.
No, it's obviously interesting you say that. So like the other day, I met a homeless person. I was talking to them for about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
She lost her job during lockdown. She lost her accommodation during lockdown. She was just out on the street, just like, and that change from that. So like you go back to like the schemes that were put in place, furlough and all these sorts of things, which really only helped people with PAYE jobs.
Yeah.
But then going back to lockdown, they seem to forget all of the other people that were on the street, and that was where you done a lot of outreach as well during lockdown, wasn't it?
So the thing is that again, it's that publicity thing. So if you look into things, when the government wasn't running the country as they were supposed to during lockdown, everyone was getting upset with them. That's when they came in with the whole everyone stay home, stay safe thing, because it swayed a political view of the government as looking bad and not caring about people in terms of their furlough schemes and stuff, and then implementing a good side to things by doing the stay home, stay safe stuff. So that's what I mean. They use it on the ability to change a thought process towards them as a cabinet.
Yeah.
So during lockdown, obviously your time, like with the like homeless stuff, yeah. How did you like? Obviously, no one was going out on the street, nothing like that. How did you feel like going helping homeless people during that time? Was it hard or was it easy? Like, how did you feel?
Did you get restricted to movement when you were there?
Yeah, that as
So
well.
I'm talking from police. Did you
No.
have anything from them?
Nothing at all.
No,
So you
and
keep
I was,
your own thing?
I was stepping into every area. I was going into Camden, I was going into Walthamstow. I didn't care what area I was going in. And this is me not even like profiling myself. I had a long trench jacket, was wearing full tracksuits, full woolly hat, tinted car. And I was pulling up in different areas with like big duffel bags full of toothpaste and stuff. And I'm walking past like groups of boys in Hackney, groups of boys in Leighton, and not caring. Nothing at all. Which actually leads me on to something. So, what is the area? I can't remember what areas, but I've had to have a meeting with a police force of an area. So they're gonna, basically they said to the person I was speaking to, basically found me through Instagram and he was like, look, I love what you're doing, but what you're doing is based on goodwill, and that's why you're not having these problems, because you're coming into contact with a lot of like sometimes drug abusers, sometimes people who are like aggressive and stuff, but they're going to help me in terms of potentially if I do get stopped in those areas, because what I am doing is mad. Going out 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm saying, like, I thought the police would be on you as well,
no,
so nothing at all.
I've never like got
Mental.
had a situation where I've been stopped by police or something for it at all.
That's okay. That's good then.
Yeah, it's
Is
been
it-
alright.
It's to go back to your favourite MP at Tottenham.
Yeah.
So, obviously, when we last spoke, you was trying to out for an interview, conversation really.
Yeah.
Obviously, since then you spoke to Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
What was that like?
So funny enough, Jeremy Corbyn already knew who I was, in terms of having a conversation, knowing what I do. So he gave me some contacts, which helped. But David Lammy's just non-existent. But it doesn't matter because I don't need any of that type of. I guess, do you know what it was? I think.
It would be nice though.
Yeah, but
Kinda.
again,
But nice how?
Yeah.
but I think a situation of if I did attach an MP to what I do, it lifts his profile for a good thing, just like a publicity stunt.
But you're not getting really.
But he's
much
not
from
actually
it.
doing anything. It makes more sense if I'm on things like Ant and Dec, on different.
Yeah, touch because you
different
was on
stuff.
Ant and Dec recently. innit?
Yeah.
And obviously you got a little holiday out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and the wife we're going on holiday on the 21st of
Where you going?
Dominican Republic.
Dominic and Ant and Dec paid for that.
Yeah.
Man.
8,700 it cost them.
And then obviously, because when we talk all the time, and you've had various, I don't know what you can and can't say, but you've had various places approach you
Yeah.
to do stuff,
Yeah.
for
So
interviews even.
yeah. So these are like mainstream TV interviews and stuff.
BBC.
Yeah, BBC. So I've been on BBC Radio. BBC News is a possibility, and there's a couple other programs and episodes possibly coming out towards the end of the year and next year as well.
It's mad though because you started this 4 years ago now.
So the streetwear brand was about
the
4 years ago.
Homeless run.
So the homeless run's only lockdown, so it's only
Yeah,
a
so
year and
It's longer than that, bro.
Yeah,
Lockdown's
no,
been
so-
like 3.
yeah, so coming up 2-3 years.
Yeah. But that started with you having leftover food at Christmas.
Yeah.
Because
No.
for
So
people here watching, they like go back to roots of where you've done it.
So obviously going through lockdown and having Boris Johnson come up with these dumb rules about you can only have exercise with 2 people.
Yeah.
You have to be in groups of 2. You can't be in groups of 6 and all this type of nonsense.
He was raving up.
Yeah, I know.
That's what he was doing.
But with my riding group, we kind of didn't care because you can't really split into 2s. So we used to just ride along the canals and stuff. But for someone who suffers with social anxiety and stuff, having my group of riders and still being able to communicate and have dialogue and whatnot and go out places was a big thing for me. So I think towards the end of the year, I was like, you know, we need to do something for other people. We spent the whole of lockdown doing stuff for ourselves while other people are stressed.
Yeah.
Let's do a homeless ride. And within a night, 2 nights, Christmas Eve, I organised for 3 cargo bikes and 100 racks. We say about 150 bags. So about 150 bags were distributed, and these were like, you know, sandwiches made by my mum, my wife, my mother-in-law, Chris. Amazon orders like biscuits and crisps and stuff like that, and we just started distributing the food and stuff. And I quickly realised that the food that we're giving them, I haven't thought about dietary requirements. I'm just literally giving out food.
To stop you there for a minute, that's very, very important, and that's something you put up to me, put onto me like an uncle, bruv, in the episode, because we spoke about it in terms of what people offer somebody that's homeless. So like, for example, I'm allergic to nuts, yeah? So if I'm homeless, someone could finish me and give me something that, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's the same with someone else in terms of the dietary requirements.
So I think for me, I think we're kind of taught as a society, as growing up, is that term beggars can't be choosers. That is literally a fact when it comes to homeless people. So a lot of people will give a homeless person food based on their own ego, in a sense. Sometimes, you know, you give someone a sandwich and your ego's uplifted. I've fed them. I've done my part. I'm done. But little do you know that sandwich you gave them is one of maybe 50 sandwiches they've had to eat for the day. That is a lot of loaves of bread.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who has to have sandwiches every day, because that's everyone's go-to when you ask them in terms of food what you'd give someone, that's a bound stomach that you can't go toilet with. It's too much.
It's facts.
You know, just like we run around, there's so many like things that you can be allergic to these days. Lactose, and these are things I was not even aware of when I was younger.
You're not thinking about that.
Gluten-free, all these type of stuff. It's new to me. So giving someone food and not knowing the dietary requirement doesn't make any sense to me, but it's a learning curve. If you're told it once, you don't take heed and you continue like just giving someone stuff. You know, half the people who work a 9 to 5 don't take sandwiches to work every day. It's boring.
Maybe one. Yeah, sandwiches are dead. Sandwiches are dead.
What to,
Dry to raw.
if you're making your
That's what
sandwich,
they are.
if you're making your sandwich, then boy, you get me. But
They're dry. You're gonna eat 5 days. You're gonna eat sandwiches.
I'm just saying.
Nah.
if you're
Do a trial run.
Hello? What?
Sandwiches every day.
Hello? No English. No. I mean, if you're making it and doing your thing in a sandwich, it'll be right. It'll be right in it. 5 days. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah,
Nah.
No
it
juice
is
in that.
long.
Depends.
Nah,
It
it's
depends.
long. What, the juice to wash the
Wash it
bread
down, yeah.
scraping down your throat? Yeah, no, I'm
Shut
alright. I'm alright. I'm good, you know. No, I'm serious.
Bro, if you're making your sandwich dead, then your sandwich is completely dead.
So what are you putting in the sandwich that's different to mine?
Anyway.
Avocado planted.
Whatever, anyway. Let's forget
Everything.
that. Let's forget that. Anyway, whatever. Whatever. So wait,
Oh.
quick one. How many riders do you normally have?
On a run,
Yeah.
it
And
could
all,
be.
and all the riders, are they like friends or you just...
No, these are people who I've met through social media. And do you know what it is? I think the tone's kind of set that it's like, I think lockdowns helped my movement a lot because everyone's had to have empathy again. You know, you started seeing neighbours that lived around your house that you've never spoken to because you were isolated at home. You started to have communication with a lot more people, and I think society needed that reset in terms of pausing for a minute and reflecting. Now, me personally, this is going to sound super crazy, but I feel like there needs to be a weekend or a bank holiday where it's full lockdown restrictions. Now, hold on and hear me out. Do you know the reason why I say that? Because if you think about your day to day and your week to week and your month to month and your year to year, it's all fast paced. It's too much. Yeah.
So you're saying purge? Is that what you're saying?
No, not purge, but at least a
That's
day,
what it
at least a
sounds
day
like.
when you
No, I'm only joking.
get to sit down and reflect with your family. Everything is too fast paced. And the thing is that
But do you need a lockdown to do that though? People should
of course you do, because you've got too many distractions.
if you want to see your family, you will though, innit?
No, but you won't, because I'll give you an example. People who have annual leave You don't force yourself up to go and see your auntie in another part of London, do you? You don't. You jam at home playing PlayStation and doing whatever. You don't put yourself in that thing where you're thinking about family because you've got so many distractions. If you're given annual leave to go and reflect on your family and you know, look at stuff.
Yeah. Sorry.
If you've got that time and you've got all that distraction stuff where, you know, shops are still open, Westfield's still open, whatever, bro, you're taking that holiday and you're going shopping. You know that for a fact. If everything's shut, you're gonna spend time with your family. That's it. And the thing is, the only reason why I say that is England is not family orientated. You think about it, someone who works a 9 to 5, they have to work a 9 to 5 plus some hours just to stay ahead of their household. Somewhere like Dubai is a different ball game. When you go out to malls in the evening, remember malls aren't shut till 11 o'clock at night. So that being said, people are going to work and still having a family life outside it, where you're seeing mums and dads walking around with
for
kids.
like 3 hours in the afternoon.
Exactly, but
Heat
here,
is beating
malls
them
are shut
as well.
in 6, 7, you're rushing, everything's rushing. So when it comes down to it, you don't see your family because you're always rushing and you're always tired.
Yeah, I hear. I get what you're saying. I think the lockdown thing would be a stretch though, because of everything that's gone on. I just think it's something that no one would confide to, bro.
No, but I think no
Not
one could find it. But obviously, if shops are shut and you're still doing click and collect and stuff, that's it.
Okay.
It's not an issue. I remember you like giving me jokes.
Brother, you not seeing these big things?
Ready
They're
to
big,
fight something.
They're big, bro.
Yeah, no, because going to another point that I wanted to bring up, obviously, it's kind of related but a bit off topic as well. Recently, obviously, you've seen, if you talk about money within London where we live, for example, the strikes that have gone on.
Yeah.
So things like that have stopped a lot of people from working.
Yeah.
But then you talk about the vital services, for example. Like I've got like there was a document that I read. So it was like from 2012 to 2021, RMT's wage increase was around about 33%. So in 10 years, NHS was 0.3%. Now, for example, where it relates to what you have is, you look at A&Es, for example, around London. Surprisingly or not, that's also somewhere else that homeless people go because they can be seen, but also to sleep, which is quite sad, but it's the truth, innit? If that service gets worse in the NHS, would we see a bigger problem with more sick people? Because you look at homeless people, you just see homeless people, but you don't see, do you get what I'm saying? Sick homeless people. So those vital services kind of need to have their increases as well.
I think those, of course, they have to have the increases because you know they're key workers. They help the country run on a day-to-day basis. But I think as the whole poverty increase in terms of your food intake, you know, the money you're spending on food it's not good quality food sometimes because you just can't afford it. And those are the type of things that make people terminally ill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely will increase in terms of just what England's output is. It's not very strong at all. You know, I think Richie Sunak just like mistakenly announced that he had been taking money from deprived areas and putting those budgets in other areas. He did it, but he made a mistake and said it publicly.
Serious?
Yeah.
Live?
Was that recent?
Yeah.
Ross, that's true. Everyone's nodding. Yeah. That,
So
wow.
he's the thing is that this country isn't. You look at homelessness. Homelessness has never been a political problem.
No.
We've never had a protest for homelessness. We've never had a protest for people who are underprivileged. We've never had a protest for anything that would allow someone to have a better way of living. We more have protests for someone who kicked a dog in the park or for someone who dragged the dog by the collar. There's never, we don't see it as a thing because we're taught not to tell people. We're all friends outside of this. I wouldn't come to you and say to you, Paolo, Donny, I don't have money for gas and electric because I don't know how it's going to be perceived. It could be, a lot of friends that we have will never come to you and tell you that they have a poverty problem, because we're not conditioned to go to that level with someone. You try to keep things in-house, especially from a Caribbean culture. Me come outside my culture and tell someone that I don't have money for something. No, because we're taught to do that. You know, now things are getting better where like men are talking about mental health and stuff like that, but that will never be a situation where it's a public domain in a sense to output that you have a poverty problem. If I came around and said to someone, I need £20 for gas and electric, that person wants to be turning and say to me, what, you think I don't need £20 for something else?
Yeah.
That would be an answer. So I'll give you an example. I think I gave you guys this example before, you know. If 3 of us are sitting around a table and, I don't know, Paolo's just come over to our house or whatever, we're all having Sunday dinner and whatever, and little, you know, we start talking about, you know, Richie Sunak and about being rich and about having money and whatnot. And, you know, me and Donnie are rinsing people who are on benefits. You know, we're all having a laugh and joking about it. But little did we know, you know, the way that we're talking about stuff, Paolo, before he came, had a red letter to say that he was going to be evicted from his house, as an example. Because of the way we're talking about people who are in poverty, we've now outcasted him. He will never ask us for help because he's already got his viewpoint on the way that we talk. So your tone has a lot to do with if your friendship circle will ever come to you. We've all got an uncle and auntie who has money, but depending on how they floss and the way that they act in front of us, if things get hard, we process. We forward think, we have an anxiety situation towards it, and we gauge if that person's going to be upcoming. I know people that will definitely ask me now because of the way of what I do on a daily basis. I'm happy for that because I've opened myself to it.
Because you not only, that's important to highlight actually, because I didn't know this till not long ago, but I saw something on your Facebook. It was a woman who had been kicked out of the house. Obviously, you didn't name her for safety reasons, but domestic violence.
Yeah.
And then was she in a hostel?
She was in a hostel. Yeah, so she was in a hostel, and the only reason why she came up on my socials and you lot knew was because I didn't realize this, but a year later, she'd got herself pregnant, she'd had a baby, and she posted a picture of the baby on my page and said, you know, this is my son. Thank you for feeding me a year ago in my time of need and giving me like money and resources and stuff. Because if you didn't, this baby wouldn't be here now. And that was a nut situation. It was like a surreal thing where I messaged her, was like, you don't need to do that. It's totally fine. She's like, I know, but people need to know that the levels that you go through. Bro, I've had situations where, you know, I had a mum who lived in Hackney. Her daughter had passed away. And you know, we had the floods and stuff. So basically, she sent me a video clip. I never knew her before. She sent me a video clip of her house being flooded, and she opened the door and it had an oxygen tank. It had the disabled bed, and basically she had gone into hospital from pneumonia. Her daughter passed away in hospital. So when she came out, she went and picked up her other 2 older daughters from the nan's house she was staying at. So when she went home with the 2 kids, obviously her house is flooded still. But the water had seeped into the floorboards and made it damp and stuff. So when she called the council said, the Hackney Council said to her, we can't help you for up to 12 weeks because you need to be re-income assessed because the child that you had was disabled is now deceased, which means you need to be re-income assessed, so we can't help you financially. Bro, I had to phone someone who lives in Gillingham and buy a microwave and a cooker to be installed into her new flat and to have stuff drained. I'm fast-paced with stuff. If I get proceeds given to me, they've got to go straight away. I don't keep nothing. So it's 12 weeks of not having any way of feeding your children, or you fix it. That's what it comes down to. And I think that's why my movement has become very fast, because I'm fast-paced. I don't do slow. I don't do red tape. I don't do paperwork. If I was a charity, as an example, you know, I had one morning I had someone message me. I think it was about, I don't know, maybe about 9:30 in the morning to tell me that there's a homeless person walking outside Wicks with no shoes on. If I was a charity, I'd have to basically get paperwork, write down the pair of shoes I've given out, what colour they were, what area I gave them to. I ain't got time for all that. You just give them out, it's done.
Because they have to claim, they claim it.
Because the Charity Commission would want to know if you had 100 bottles of Coke, where did 89 of them go, and where's the rest of them stored?
That's love.
I ain't got time for that.
People trying to just have a drink. Do you know what I mean?
It's stupid.
No, I know. It's obviously, like you say, it's been fast paced in terms of your movement. It's grown a lot in the last year.
Yeah.
So for everyone to hear today and everyone watching live as well. But I always ask you this as well off camera as well. Like, how much bigger can it get in terms of the outreach? Like, what can you do next to grow that essentially message that you spread?
So I think this is one thing I've kind of come to realization of is the answer to that question is not to think that far, because thinking that far means that you want the problem to continue. And I think if I don't say I want it to be this big and I want to have this storehouse and I want to have this warehouse, that is basically up in the ante that I want poverty to continue as a problem. So by saying that I live a day-to-day basis, as an example, we had the heat wave, yeah?
Mental.
I realised we were going to have a heat wave from the Met Office telling us we're going to have a heat wave.
Yeah.
I basically put an Amazon wish list, and within 48 hours had 750 bottles of water donated to where I work.
Yeah.
I took all of the 750 bottles of water and put them into a deep freezer. On the first day of the heat wave, as soon as I finished work, I went and filled up my whole van full of ice poles and stuff, and basically drove around giving them to homeless people. So I think on a day-to-day basis. I don't really think on a end goal basis, because the end goal basis, it's just like someone says that they want to feed 500,000 people by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do you really want the poverty problem to be that big?
Yeah.
Or should you be saying, I hope it gets lower, I'm hoping to feed 20 people by the end of the year, because you want it to go down.
100%.
So I think the answer to that is, I don't want it to be bigger.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out 3 o'clock in the morning feeding people. I don't want to get text messages like I had just before this podcast saying that he's hungry.
You had a message literally before we
Yeah,
started.
so I had a message from a guy I've been helping in Tottenham. I haven't spoken to him for a while. That's because the last 2 months he's been working. I got, obviously it's maybe a cash in hand job. His family's now, the family he was working for has now gone on holiday for 2 months. So he said for the last 2 weeks he's been struggling to eat. And literally, can I get him some food? So after I finished here in Brixton, I'm going to go down to Tottenham and get him some food.
Yeah. So I'm saying,
You're sick, bro.
yeah.
You're sick, man.
Because do
Blessing,
you remember what you said to me? This is during lockdown, not people knowing. This is before you, maybe just before you fully took off with what you was doing.
Yeah.
The conversation we had. Because let's be honest, we was wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Yeah. On PlayStation, you talk about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Month.
It was stupid.
Yeah, we were dumb. But we was. And
Yeah.
then you disappeared for a while and everyone was like, right, Vera, where
Yeah,
you
I was
been?"
gone.
Yeah, you're on a mission.
I was gone.
He's on a mission, bro.
Like, it was
But it's
literally,
it's a good cause, what you're
literally
doing,
we were on PlayStation all day.
Just to give you lots of clarity, we all got furloughed for like 5 months. So we was just, as you can imagine, during lockdown, if you was on furlough, you PlayStation, whatever you was on. But yeah, that's what we was doing. And then obviously, Veril
Yeah, I just disappeared. I was gone.
disappeared.
Literally.
But I was still in the WhatsApp group. You could know I was still alive.
Yeah.
But it's just been a really mad road, man. You know.
Very quickly, because we got to finish soon. But financially, the bigger problem with homelessness in the UK is you can continue feeding people, but what's got to change financially to essentially bring the problem down?
I don't think it's got to change financially. I think it's got to change in terms of topical problem. So a topical problem, England run on a very much a pop art culture. So it's like a popular culture. So if we see the #1 tweet on Twitter is Ukraine as a problem, everyone runs to it as an issue. If we have a dog that's bit a child, we will be, hashtag child safety with dogs. Yeah, we're that easily swayed. If we tweet that homelessness is a problem, the government have to fix it because now they're deemed to be bad people. So I don't think it's got to change financially, because financially the government don't have a clue. They just put 1.8 million into giving homeless people vapes.
Yeah, that's mental. What's that all about?
What's this new
So
thing? I
they're trying to cut down on homeless people smoking, which they cut down in because they can't afford the cigarettes, which is dumb. So they've now put 1.8 million into giving them free vapes. So they'll go out giving homeless people vapes. Now, bro, I'll be honest with you, and I've spoken to a couple people, seeing a homeless person with a cigarette is one thing. Seeing a homeless person with a full vape that's got electricity and stuff, bro, half the people ain't even gonna help them because vapes ain't cheap. So I think government initiatives and the way they work with homelessness and poverty problems, bro, remember, homelessness is illegal in this country. Under the Vagrancy Act, it's illegal to be homeless. Under the Vagrancy Act, you're not allowed to sleep on a public street. Under the Vagrancy Act, you're not allowed to ask for tender, which is currency. Under the Act, you're not allowed to be walking around without identification. So a homeless person, every time they sleep outside McDonald's and whatnot, when the police move them on, the reason why they have to move is underneath the Act. That's what they use to move them on. But if they don't move, that's £1,000 fine and up to 4 months in jail. So remember when we used to have the spikes and stuff outside Sainsbury's,
Yeah.
like the bird
Birds
things.
yeah.
That's under the Act. That's the reason why it was allowed to happen. But because society took it on as a popular problem,
Yeah.
it was eradicated.
They've done it with the benches as well, though.
So they put the bars in front of the bench to stop them from sleeping on them.
I wouldn't know. I didn't even know that.
That-
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I think in essence, I think that's where I feel like my role is with the whole activist situation in terms of speaking of homelessness, is teaching groups of
Yeah.
people that this problem is bigger than we think it is, because we grow with it.
Yeah.
You know, bro, someone sent me a screenshot of a London tourist book that had a picture of a homeless person in central London. It was an attraction to come and see homeless people in the UK. There's Twitter, there's things on TikTok with, I think, a woman who saw a picture of a homeless person inside our underground and was shocked because in her eyes, all she was seeing from outside England was Buckingham Palace, the Millennium Wheel, red buses, nothing else. But when she saw those homeless people, she's like, "Wow, you guys have homeless people like we have homeless people." It's a poverty is a disease, and it's infectious because people don't talk about it enough, and because people don't. We live in a fiat economy, so we're very fast-paced with everything. Back in the day, if you saw someone with a Range Rover, he's doing his thing, he's doing well. Bro, Range Rover is so accessible even for people with poor credit now.
Finance.
You know? So it's a difficult tone, but only when homelessness becomes a society's problem, all it will take is for someone, you know, God forbid, someone to pass away in front of Buckingham Palace as a homeless person, that's when it will become a problem.
You think so? I don't think so.
I
It
don't
will,
think so.
because once that hits the media, once media get hold of that and have a picture of the police surrounding a homeless person that's died in front of Buckingham Palace,
Yeah.
it will now be a sway between poverty and richest. And that's where the problem will happen. So then things will start getting questioned. Bro, the royal family ain't that big to be questioned. They get questioned all the time. We just had a son involved in something just the other day.
What's that?
Noncy.
Huh?
Noncy.
Oh, don't, bruv. Don't.
as
I
an
can't get
example-
into that conversation, man.
But
'cause
as an
I'll
example,
start
so
cussing him out.
everyone can get it. Everyone can get
Oh.
cancelled.
Oh, Andrew.
Yeah, so everyone
Yeah.
everyone can get it. So, you know, it is what it is.
No, I hear that, man. I'm not even going to give that guy the time of day, to be honest, for
Yeah.
a conversation.
That's
But
another topic.
yeah, no, obviously coming on today live with Pop Brixton for the Soundbanks 1 year anniversary. Just wanted to say thanks for coming down. Do me a
Appreciate it,
favour
man.
as well, shout out your socials for me.
So Instagram is C86ers, so C86ERZ,
Yeah.
and then my Facebook is Veryl Paul Walcott,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And how can people donate to? You've got the GoFundMe page on your link.
Yeah, the Just Giving page is on one of the links. But again, you know, with me, I got the van, I raised the 13 grand for it. That's what I needed at the time. I'm not someone who continuously has links all the time, only as and when I need them, because I'm not here to be basically taking money off the community
Yeah.
and not needing it.
Okay. Cool.
Say less.
We'll be back soon recording anyway, back at Jukebox. But yeah, follow our socials as well. Waffle Top PC for Instagram, Waffle Top podcast for Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube. We're not on Apple. I don't even say it anymore, you know. It's not my fault though. I say this every time. We can't get on Apple, bro. Don't ask. Long story.
It's full, bro.
It's not my fault.
It's your fault, bro.
Yeah.
That's another podcast.
That's a whole.
Anyway, it's not
Yeah,
getting-
yeah.
It's your fault, though.
Yeah. Got Donny with me as well.
Submit it, though, it's your
No, I'm not doing that.
Submit it,
I'm
it's
not
your
doing it. I'm not doing it. Got Donny with me as well.
But it's your fault. Oh, ask them.
Ask who, bro?
I'll ask
All
the
the-
group. As soon as I finish, I'm going to message
Message
you.
the group and ask why.
Why can't you get on Apple?
Ask
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing mad, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching anyway, and thank you for the live audience as well today. Really appreciate everyone. See you soon.